0.73. This decimal measures humanity's current mastery of energy relative to the rest of the cosmos. On the scale of universal development, we are barely off the starting block. Soviet astronomer Nikolai Kardashev proposed this framework in 1964, and Carl Sagan later refined it into a continuous metric. They categorized civilizations by a single currency, their total energy consumption. A Type 1 civilization captures all available energy on its home planet, sun, wind, and tide. At Type 2, a species captures the entire output of its host star using a Dyson swarm. A Type 3 civilization commands the energy of an entire galaxy. We have reached none of these tiers. Our current score remains 0.73. We still rely on burning ancient carbon to function. We continue to prioritize national borders over the planetary-scale energy systems required to move the needle. Humanity is currently trapped as a Type 0 civilization. We stand at the threshold of planetary power, but we are anchored by a mindset that hasn't caught up to our engineering potential. Type 0 represents a unique threshold in a species' development. At this stage, a civilization develops the technology to destroy itself, making the transition to Type 1 a deliberate choice to prioritize survival over self-destruction. We look to the stars to find others who successfully navigated this choice. Projects like GHAT scan for the infrared waste heat of alien megastructures, while SETI listens for signals across the dark. Astronomers briefly focused on Tabby star, where erratic dimming suggested a Dyson swarm under construction. Further study pointed back to dust and debris, leaving the search empty. This is the Fermi Paradox. Despite a galaxy of hundreds of billions of stars, we find zero evidence of infrared excess or artificial signals. This absolute silence suggests that something is stopping civilizations from leveling up before they reach the Type 1 threshold. This bottleneck is known as the Great Filter, a theoretical threshold that almost no species crosses. The data suggests that as civilizations reach the Type 0 stage, they develop the capability to end their own history before they gain the collective wisdom to manage it. A species might engineer pathogens it cannot contain, or build artificial intelligences it does not know how to steer, closing the filter before it ever leaves its home planet. Nuclear weapons remain a primary mechanism for this self-extinction. They provide the power to end a civilization long before that same energy is harnessed for the grid. Our barrier to becoming a Type 1 civilization is no longer a lack of technology. Fusion reactors and orbital energy grids are already within our technical reach. The Great Filter reflects whether a species can outthink its own weapons and out-cooperate its own tribalism. It acts as a mirror for a civilization at our exact stage of development. Mission 1 is the effort to move past this mirror and leave Type 0 behind. Success requires replacing quarterly financial goals with planetary timescales, a shift in how we process risk and coordinate action. This process starts with insight, the refusal to ignore uncomfortable truths about our existential risks. Next is foresight, the discipline of mapping long-term trajectories. The final move is strategy, the translation of foresight into deliberate, coordinated moves that shift a planetary system. This three-part logic applies to every level of society, from the boardroom to the government. It provides the framework needed to survive a technological adolescence. A civilization moves up the Kardashev scale when millions of individuals stop operating on Type 0 assumptions, coordinating to manage a single planet. Humanity is facing a test of character at a global scale. We are the ones currently reading the data and facing the mirror, and we must decide if we are willing to act like a civilization with somewhere else to be. Mission 1 has begun.